Hi there, Dance Studio owners. Clint Salter here, founder of the Dance Studio Owners Association, and welcome to a very special podcast event. Over the next 8 weeks, you're going to be hearing from dance studio owners Angela and Jodi about how you can grow your dance studio in this very special series we're calling Elevate Your Studio. Over these next 8 episodes, you're going to be hearing ideas about how you can get more creative in the classroom. We're going to be talking about recitals. Angela and Jodi are jumping in how to have spectacular summer camps. They're going to be talking about creating an exceptional customer experience, how you can maximize your musical theatre programming, how you can promote a positive body image inside of the classroom, out of the box marketing ideas, and they're going to tell you about their absolute failures that they've had in their dance studio and how to avoid them. You're in for an amazing 8 weeks. Elevate Your Studio with Angela and Jodi starts now.
Elevate Your Studio with Angela and Jodi, finding the joy in studio ownership. I'm Angela Manella Hoffman.
And I'm Jodi Schilling, and we're bringing you this 8-week mini podcast event through Transform Your Dance Studio, the podcast for dance studio owners created by Clint Salter, CEO of the Dance Studio Owners Association.
We'll be with you for 8 episodes, sharing as many tips and tricks as we can to help you elevate your studio. And we're really excited.
And what an honor. We're part of the Inner Circle. And Clint asked us to do these 8 weeks and share a little bit of what we've learned and what we do at our studios. And I couldn't be more excited, Angela, to do this with you.
Me either. Why don't you tell everybody a little bit about you, Jodi?
Okay. I'm Jodi Schilling, and I own Releve Studios. We're located in Los Angeles, California. Specifically, Tarzana is our suburb. And I've been part of the Inner Circle now for 3 years. And you and I just re-upped to do our fourth season.
Yes.
Because it's so amazing. And we've seen so much growth, well, at least I have, in my studio since I've been a part of the program. But Releve, we are creating triple threat dancers. We do acting, singing, dancing, musical theater, gymnastics, and then a whole bunch of kind of odd ethnic dance styles like hula, African, ballroom, Irish, Bollywood. Pretty much anything that you can think of, we're teaching at Releve. Piano lessons, guitar. We really have a quite full schedule, and we start at age 2 and we go through adult. And I can't think of anything I'd rather do. I just love it. I got my start from I was an actress / dancer, and did a couple of Disney shows, Hannah Montana and That's So Raven, and I took that money and opened a studio and thought that it was time to start giving back, and that's what I've been doing ever since. How about you, Angela?
Awesome. Well, I have a similar story. My studio is called More Than Dance, and we're in Fridley, Minnesota, which is right outside of Minneapolis. But I started as an actress as well, doing a lot of theater and touring and commercials. And so I wanted to open a studio that helped our dancers become triple threats, because that's really what you need to get booking or cast or anything like that. So we do singing, dancing, and acting. And I'll like you too, Jodi, but we don't have hula hoops yet, or hula dancing yet. We'll work on that. But I'm very lucky, and we have a large special needs program at our studio. And I'm just super excited to be here with you, because I know that you have a lot of creative ideas. And we both love to use our creativity in the classroom.
Yeah, and it doesn't hurt to be chatting with one of my best friends in the whole world. So
yes,
we met each other in the Inner Circle along with our other BFF, Shauna, and a whole slew of others, and it's just been an amazing ride. And now we're doing this.
Yes,
I know.
We're going to talk about creativity in the classroom, right? How we use it.
Everything about creativity, and I know that you especially are really, really good with bringing imagery as into the classroom. Can you just tell us some things that you do, especially with the younger children?
Yeah, absolutely. I just first off think creativity is so important because I think sometimes when we're talking to our students and telling them the different positions or things like that, especially our younger ones can't always feel it.
Mm-hmm.
So using imagery can really help them. I make sure that I use during our creative imagery, I use correct terminology. So we say hello to Angel Efase and do our arabesque Efase because she lives high up in the clouds, or Queen Quase. And so I help my students to reach up and get a jewel from the queen and let that go all the way down your leg. Or we have our arabesque alligator who tries to chomp our students' feet when we do our jeté leaps because we go over a pond and pick up baby ducks. So all sorts of different things that we can really use as imagery. And like to keep our shoulders down, I ask my students to open their jewelry boxes and put on long dangly earrings. And then they all tell me which color. And I have them cover up their ears and then let them go. And then I say, are we going to dance, with our ears covered? And they say, no. So a lot of fun things like that. How about you, Jodi? What do you do?
Well, I mean, I do a lot of the similar things, but I like you, I just think that creativity is so important, especially when they get to the dance studio, because I don't think it's necessarily encouraged at school as much as it should be, because I think creativity is where the great minds are, with entrepreneurship and any great invention. It starts with a creative thought, and if you're not letting yourself do that and go there, then you're not developing that muscle. And in our classes, I mean, I would say more in the younger classes. Everything that we're doing is a story. It's just basically storytelling or singing and acting out the story through our movement. But everything we do, from across the floor to even our beginning circle, it's all revolves around a story and whatever that theme is that month or few months. Like right now we're in fall theme, so everything's with apples and leaves and things like that.
We just used leaves the other day for our saute jumps.
So
like 5 or 6 leaves that were fake. And we did our saute jumps and let the leaves fall. It was so fun. And the kids loved it. And don't you find too that especially some of the kids who may not be as quick to learn dance, when they can foster their creativity and imagery, it really helps bring them out of their shells.
Yeah, and then it's not so much about the technique and, the balance, especially with the younger ones. It's hard for them. We just want them to move at first.
Yeah.
And then the imagery can help really produce those beautiful technical lines later on. But in the beginning, this week we threw leaves into the air, and then we had the children recreated it with their body and did improv dancing like leaves falling from the trees. And it was really beautiful. So I think it's just, whatever you can come up with, it's okay.
You're creating magic too, because think now these kids are going to go out and when they see leaves falling, they're going to think it's a dance. And I mean, it's wonderful to send our kids out into this world with magic and excitement and creativity.
Yeah, they start to see it everywhere. Absolutely. I know that we both just use leaves. I know that you got the idea just walking through Michael's, but how else do you get ideas for some of these classroom activities?
Sure. Well, I just find that especially with my younger students, the more props that I have, the better it is. So a lot of times I'll just walk through the dollar store and kind of find things and then create something around it. So we use hula hoops for our jeté leaps. So like I was saying, we do a jeté leap over the magical pond, and pick up baby ducks. And we bring the ducks with our port-de-bras over our head. So anything really can be a prop that you can use. And it's so nice too when the kids are starting to lose focus, or if, their attention is kind of waning, to whip out a prop and There's nothing better than a magic wand, I think.
I know. And these props can be used for different things. Like our hula hoops are flower planters. So our children, our children are the flowers inside their flower pot, and then we'll grow when the sunshine comes up and we stand up and we do our port de bras, and then the rain comes and we sway. There's so many things. We've done obstacle courses with the props, and I'm trying to think of what other really cool props. Sometimes the coolest props are props that you don't normally think of.
Sure.
I like the unexpected. Like we do this one thing with newspapers. Cool. Where, because I like, especially in the younger classes, I want to teach more than just dance. I want to bring in some of the elements that they're learning in school. And so with these newspapers, we'll spread them out to their full length, and we'll tell the children that they are going to dance on top of the newspapers and use the full width of the newspaper. And then we freeze, and then we say we're going to fold the newspaper in half, and we fold the newspapers in half, and they dance in the half section, and then we do the quarter, and then we do the eighth, and they're learning their fractions, and then they're also learning body, like their spatial awareness, like what it's like to dance really tiny.
Oh, that's awesome.
As opposed to really big.
Yeah, I have colored ribbons. So we do a color dance where we dance like the color blue and what blue might be, or pink or red, and so then they're learning their colors too.
The colors. And applying those emotions to the colors.
And don't you find too that we are helping our kids get ready for preschool and kindergarten, those younger ones, learning how to stay in lines, knowing which way to face and listen to the teacher, all those great things.
All the etiquette.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think that's most of the reason why parents bring their children to dance. Well, yes, they want to dance, but they also want to socialize them and prep them for school and get a head start on some of those basic concepts.
And there's nothing cuter than a cute little girl in a tutu, that's for sure.
Yes. I'm trying to think of any other really cool props that we use. We've talked about a few.
Jewels are great because you can use them to pick up, or little fuzzy balls.
Oh, I love the fuzzy balls.
Yeah, put them on our feet to turn out our feet.
We do tissue paper, Kleenex. We put it on our head, and they learn what cause and effect are. So they'll dance, and they're not allowed to drop the tissue paper. So they have to move very slowly, and they learn what things they do will make the tissue fall, and what doesn't. That's a really fun one.
We use a parachute too for our saute jumps. And I let them, if they know the word saute, then they can go underneath the parachute. And then I pretend that my whole class left and I start crying. So that's always fun too. A parachute, or even stickers to put them on your ankles in different places to know where your turnout is and all of that. You do a lot of games though, don't you, Jodi, in your classes?
Yeah, lots of games for all ages. Some of my so there's two that have been a hit. One of them stemmed from an acting game that we used to do, and it's called Samurai Warrior, and it's a huge hit at our studio with both the boys and the girls.
Great.
So I come out with my pretend sword and I say, I'm the Samurai Warrior and you are my trainees. And when I sweep the floor, so I'll say, sweep the floor. And I'll take my pretend sword and go across the room, and all the children have to saute over the sword. Perfect. And then another one with that is sweep the head. And I'll go across their heads, and they have to plie under my sword. And
the boys especially love it because it's not doing a plie, it's being a samurai.
No, there's Samurai Warrior. There's also go for the head. And I'll go straight towards them, and they bring up a pretend shield and go dink. And they're doing a backwards lunge. And then there's silly ones like Jello, and I make them all wiggle around like Jello. And there's it adds on. Like, I think there's like 7 or 8 things that I'll do with them. And they all have a very specific vocab word that's attached to it, or a quality that I want to get out of them. Yeah.
Perfect.
Do you have a game you love? I have one more that I'll share.
Oh, I love our Pas de Chat game. So Pas de Chat, Step of the Cat.
Mm-hmm.
We have half of the classroom are the mice.
Mm-hmm.
And then I have a couple students that are the cats. And so we stand on different parts of the room. And the only step we can do is a Pas de Chat to get across. So the cats are trying to get the mice.
That's so
and
cute.
we do this little thing where the cats go meow, 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 point to their tummies, and then meow, meow, meow. And we do Pas de Chat, and we try to catch the mice. So if a mouse gets tapped, they just freeze. But we talk a lot about movement and how you can affect different planes of movement with the cats and the mice. And so the Pas de Chat game is super fun. Because I like to get into it too. So I kind of acted out. And
I can only imagine.
it looks like a bad production of Cats, across the floor. But it's really fun.
Don't you think that the best games are invented out of necessity? There's this one. I was going insane one year with this group of 7-year-olds who could not remember where they stood in their formation for the recital dance.
Yeah.
And I was pulling out my hair, and I came up with this game called Scrambled Eggs. And so they're all standing in their spots, and I make them look around and memorize where they are. And then I say, scrambled eggs. And they all run around the room to a different spot far away from where they were just standing. And then I say, let's make breakfast. And they all have to run back to their original spot in 10 seconds. And I make, you make a big deal. Can you do it? Can you do it? And then of course they all can do it, and they get there. And then you say, who thinks they can do it in 7 seconds? And then you do it again in 7 seconds. And then you take it down to like 4, which seems impossible, but they always end up doing it. And it's so much fun. And it's one of those games where my instructors have stolen, of course I want them to steal it, but the games that are winners when the kids come into the classroom and they're like, can we play scrambled eggs? Can we do Samurai Warrior or Cats and Mice? You know what they love.
No, it's great. And it really helps get them excited and, feeling like they're doing stuff in class and having some fun. Do you do things with your older students too? I do. Do you do a lot of creativity in your classroom?
Oh, absolutely. It looks a little different than, of course, what it looks like with the younger kids. They'll just roll your eyes at you if you're like, let's play Samurai Warrior,
Sometimes those older kids like those games, though. You can tell.
They do. I did a bingo game this week for Bring a Friend Week, and everyone under 10 loved it. I'll share this in another episode, but the teens tried to act like they didn't like it, like kind of too cool for school, but they ended up doing it anyway. It was pretty funny.
That's great.
But with the older ones, it's more about finding ways to enhance their performance, don't you think?
Yes, to use their emotions when they dance and perform
and dance full out and dance in ways that they've not thought possible. Yeah. So some things that we'll do is, of course, change mood lighting.
Sure.
A variety of different lights. One of my favorite things to do with the older kids, especially if they've been working on a dance for, a long time and they're about to compete it or do it at recital, is that I will completely change the music.
Oh, that's
something that, so if they're doing a contemporary piece, I'll put on musical theater or something jazzy, just to trip them up. And I'll say, okay, let's do your dance to this. And then collectively as a group, they have to make it work and feel the new vibe of it. And it always adds this really cool layer to the production once we go back to the original song.
That's great. Yeah. I had my comp students do their piece backwards sometimes. We don't get very far into it, granted, but we do it backwards with the counts. And it's kind of fun because it flips their thinking a little bit. just to keep things fresh, especially towards the end of the season. Don't you find after
Oh, yeah.
a couple times and, they're ready to move on to the next thing, but they still need to perform at recital and all of that. So yeah, we go backwards or take out a student and then do it, with 5 instead of 7 or whatever, and just start taking people out or moving positions for people and things like that. So it's still in the framework of what they know, but
yeah,
challenge for them.
And they all love to perform, like every opportunity they can get. So we'll do what we call look-sees. Other people call them show and tells, and we'll switch rooms and have everyone come into the big room and show each other, or we'll do it outside randomly for people passing by. We've danced in our lobby just to be silly.
Yeah. No, I find too that even with some of the younger kids, if you pretend that you're putting on your camera,
oh yeah,
you tend to really turn it on, which is so funny because even those little babies, like once they know they're being taped or recorded, they come to life. So sometimes I'll do that with my older students too. I'll say, I'm going to put this on YouTube or whatever, and then they step it up. I wish they would do it all the time, but yeah, I found that helps a lot.
Isn't that just the day and age that we're in? Can you imagine if I can't even remember ever being filmed in class when I was training.
No way.
With the little ones, I love to do pretend stuffed animal audiences across the front of the room, just to get those pre-show jitters out, like about a month before we go on stage for recital. They'll bring their stuffed animal to class, and we tell them all about what it's going to be like to be on stage. And then we have them go sit in the audience, and we do practice their number. It's so fun.
Oh, that's awesome. I have the students, we cover up the mirrors as we get closer to recital. And then I put paper on there, and then they get to draw their family members watching them.
Oh, I love that.
There's always like one kid has like their dog next to grandma or something. And so it makes it really fun to see who's going to come to recital. So those are great ideas. I love that because it's really important to get them prepped for those things too.
Oh, yeah.
There's a whole method to going on and off stage and being creative with that. And, we can get to that another time too.
How do you share all these ideas that you get with your staff and what they come up with too? Do you have a method for sharing between each other?
We do it in our staff meetings. We'll all kind of go around and give the best practice of the week that we had, or something that really worked for us. And a lot of times one person will share something and then somebody else will kind of add on to it the next week. So when we get together for our staff meetings, which are usually every couple of weeks, that's when we really share it. So yeah, it's fun. But we also do Dance History Week, or where everybody dresses up like a different choreographer or dancer or things like that. So just trying to keep it all going throughout the season. How about you?
Yeah. We share it in our private Facebook group. We have one just for instructors. And so if one of us comes up with a really great idea, we'll share it in the group.
That's great.
Like I subscribe to a ton of blogs and podcasts and things like that, and pull ideas from everywhere. But I think that my instructors are pretty good with that too. But we'll share it in the group if we have a really great idea we're going to try this week. Yeah. And then we let everyone know how it goes.
Right.
And then
it doesn't work. But.
I know sometimes it just doesn't work. But the ones that do, I think it's really important to have a system to remember what are the really good go-tos.
Absolutely.
And just like kind of have those filed away. Ours is they're in each of the curriculums, but it's also in our Google Drive. We have
that's great. No, that's great. What do you kind of do with those creative things? I mean, do you use them the same year after year? In our studio, the kids kind of graduate to a new level of creativity, so they know, when they're the 3-year-olds, they're playing the pot of Shaw game. And obviously we throw in other things, but do you have kind of a structure of how your creativity works, or do you just throw it in whenever you feel like it?
I think that there's the tried and true for each level, things that work, but sometimes you're just each class has its own personality, doesn't it?
Yes.
And sometimes you just need something special for that particular class. And that's when things get interesting. And
Well,
like
it comes out of the sky sometimes and just, yeah.
yeah. And like sometimes I'm like, where did that come from?
Sure.
Right. And then the kids, some of them, even when they're older, they'll be like, "Hey, Miss Jodi, can we play Samurai Warrior?" And they're like 14.
That's great.
Yeah.
Great. That's awesome.
And it's not all. By no means are we playing games the whole time.
Oh no. No.
It's sprinkled in there. It's like one or two a class, depending on the age and who they are. They rec. The kids that are more pre-professional, that we're digging more into the technique and not spending so much time on games. It's more the imagery and things like that. One of my favorite things is journaling with those teens. Do you do that at all?
I give all of my older teens a journal at the beginning of the year,
Mm-hmm.
and it's meant to be something that helps them to dream. It's their dream journal. So I have them write choreography in there. I have them find pictures of dancers to put in there. They can do whatever they want with it. And sometimes we'll do guided journal meditation kind of things. But mostly it's just for them to really realize how special they are. Because I don't think they get that enough.
No, they don't. They need to hear it more than what we think they do.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And the journal is a great way to teach them how to reflect and self-analyze and get their emotions out.
Right. And figure out why class went so well this week. They can write down, I really took time to work on, my turnout, or, my pirouettes were great this week. Why? Things like that too. And that really helps them to look back and see how their journey has gone.
Yeah, we'll use them to create goals for the year, for the month, for the week, all kinds of stuff. You mentioned researching other dancers and choreographers. I think it's also cool to have the older ones research different genres.
Great. Yes.
What's working in the industry? What's kind of the new thing?
Sure. Yeah. We also, one of our favorite times is we have a costume throwback week where everyone's an old dance costume.
I love it.
That's kind of fun too. Just, to throw in something a little different, or pajama week, or, parent participation week, kind of those things that a lot of people do. But it's fun to.
Well, speaking of getting the whole studio involved, do you do anything that like challenges the whole studio to do something at the same time?
Yeah. So we do our banana split party. So if students get 2 out of their 3 splits, then they get to come to the banana split party, and we have all this ice cream, and it's really healthy. All this ice cream and sprinkles and things like that. So that's really fun to kind of challenge and level up people so that they keep working harder to make sure that they get to that party. So how about you?
Well, I can tell you firsthand that the banana split party works because I stole that from you.
I'm sure I stole it from somebody else too.
It was awesome.
Oh, good.
We have, let's see, we've got a pirouette board of fame.
Oh, what's that? How's that work?
Well, when the students get their pirouettes, like a single, a double, a triple, quadruple, they get their names put under each one of those. So
perfect.
So once they get that, it's pretty cool. And then we've got, on a smaller scale, each week we have Star of the Bar. Ooh. So that goes to the student in each class who each week was the best listener. Who tried the hardest. Yeah. Perfect dress code, all that stuff.
Sure. We do something like that towards Easter week, kind of when people are kind of forgetting some stuff. And so we give away Easter baskets, and they can get a ticket if they're kind to another friend in dance class or help the teacher, things like that. And then they get to put their ticket in the basket to draw and win one of the baskets that we have. So that's kind of nice because it helps get everybody back on track and, February, March, around there, whenever
Yeah.
it falls. So, yeah.
Do you find being a performer yourself, an actress, well, I know you do this, but do you find that you get different results because you're able to bring in acting exercises into your dance classes?
Absolutely, absolutely. I do a lot of acting in our dance classes. A lot of, even with the younger kids, acting out an emotion, or we'll do a lot actually with sound. A sound game that has nothing to do with dance really, but it's another way of expressing who we are. How about you? Do you use so many good theater games and things?
Oh, absolutely. And the way I sell it to the students, especially the ones who are just there, they're diehard dancers.
Right.
It's been my experience that you have to know a little bit about acting, a little bit about dance, or singing, and maybe some acro to really book jobs, and your options open up a lot more. Because I was an actress, I had film as an option.
Right.
And musical theater, and it wasn't just dance companies that I could look for, as far as jobs.
Right. And we even do, I teach them in class how to slate, for auditions and things like that. So, we do the same. Yeah, we'll have mock auditions during class sometimes, and, we'll start eliminating out students, and we're just trying to bring what they want to do in the future into the classroom and making it happen in a fun, creative way.
Angela, you're not going to believe this, but we have only 2 minutes left. So this is like flying by. But I just wanted to see if you have a number one tip that you would want to leave the audience with as it comes to adding creativity into the classroom.
Well, my number one thing is to try to see things through the eyes of a child, where that magic of Christmas and everything is just frosted and magical and sparkly. And I think if you can try to see things that way, then you can just go with it.
Absolutely.
How about you? What's your number one piece of advice?
I would say don't be afraid to try something new, even if you just don't get up, because either it's going to work and they're going to think you're brilliant, or it's not going to work and they're going to see that you're human. And both things are perfectly fine for them to think. And you can't add anything creative unless you're trying,
Right.
So just take that first step and see what works.
Absolutely. Well, thanks, Jodi.
Thank you.
Talk to you. And I can't wait for our next episodes.
Oh, I know. We've got some good ones.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you too, Angela. Until next time.
See you then.
All right. Bye for now.
Bye.
Thanks so much for joining us on today's episode. I hope you got a huge amount of value from the amazing Angela and Jodi, who are not only dance studio owners, but they are also members of our Dance Studio Owners Inner Circle program. Now, if you would like more information and resources on how you can grow your dance studio while reclaiming your life, please head to our website, dsoa.com. We'll see you there and see you back next week for another awesome episode.